Hello, my internet friends and fiends. Welcome to the first ever episode of Slapdash Saboteurs. My name's Scott Stevens. This is the podcast where we clearly have no idea just who the hell we think we are. Joining me this week is Brendan, our resident Casanova, and with him is Eric, aka Why Didn't Anyone Warn Me This Game had hentai in it.
It's true.
Today on Slapdash Saboteurs, we present Katawa Shoujo, also known as When You Make Little Girls Cry a Lot.
Yay!
Also known as Cripple Girls.
Yay!
So, starting us off
Yay!
is some excitement, but starting us off, what do you think of the game overall as a whole, as a just general gist?
Well, first off, let me start by saying that if you had asked me 3 months ago, hey Eric, play this dating sim, I would have been like, oh, hell no. But at 2 months ago I watched and read The World God Only Knows. Therefore, I am a capturing god. So I was like, I'll play this and I'll win. And I did that, and it was actually fun. That is my opening thought.
What was your favorite part, Eric?
Oh, I'd have to say the part where you eat
Where
lunch
Buzz
in the
came off?
cafeteria. I liked that part.
Oh.
It seemed like really good food, especially since I could totally see it.
Okay.
So, what is this game about and stuff? You know?
All right.
Okay, so the point of this game is you play as a character who has about as much personality as
A brick?
a brick or so,
Brick,
couple bricks.
It's fun.
and you go about meeting several girls, total of 5, and a few other minor to major ones, at a school for those with major disabilities. And you go about choosing which one you will love, because that's how life works.
And
And
Kenji.
I choose Kenji, yeah.
Okay, I think is that our transition to our first topic,
I
Kenji?
think that the first thing we should talk
How
about
much
is the
Kenji
great
sucks.
enigma of our
So,
Lord and
just
Savior.
getting out there, 2 of us, that would be I and Brendan,
The
hate
same.
Kenji.
Kenji
Eric
is
thinks
love,
he is
Kenji
good.
life.
He's an awful Harry Potter wannabe.
He is not a Harry Potter wannabe. Harry Potter is a Kenji wannabe. Even if he didn't know it when he was released.
Okay, I'm gonna counterpoint that by saying no.
That is a strong argument, to which I say, roll the clip.
Okay,
Insert information as to why I am correct.
yeah, there isn't any.
How will you combat this?
Literally,
Anyway,
it's
so
like,
Kenji, he is the Keanu Reeves of this game.
He murdered
Let
me.
be clear.
Twice.
He's basically well, that's
Murdered
just
me
because you
twice.
suck.
No,
yeah,
no, no, he
spoiler
murdered
alert,
me twice.
Kenji can kill you, and he sucks.
Okay, maybe I feel like we're not explaining enough about this game.
Okay, who would like
So-
to do that?
So I'll just take a step back to explain Kenji. Kenji is your dorm mates as you have moved into. That's not where to start. So the main character, the brick, he starts out. He has a brick attack. You know, his brick organs, they start to explode a little bit.
Some people
And-
call them hearts for some reason.
Yep, I don't know why, but yeah, he it's like something that starts with an A. He's got heart problems, basically. Oh, go figure. See what they did there. So he has to go to this special school for special kids, for cripples, and that's where they get the name Cripple Girls. And so he's living in the dorms, and Kenji is his dorm mate, and he is pretty much the coolest guy ever. So he has long and dragged on conversations.
You're giving them false information.
I disagree with this. I
Kenji
am
is most
not.
certainly not the coolest character ever.
When would the Office of War Information ever give wrong information out? Definitely not during a war against
Talking
communists.
to you wearing nothing but a leaf.
That is in one scene.
A
Yeah,
very, very
the first
long
scene of someone being naked is a guy wearing a leaf over his crotch in the
For
shower.
20
But,
minutes.
you know, the important thing, we can look past. We can look past his lack of
I don't want
clothes
to look past
into the
that.
deep.
I don't want to look
okay,
past
that's
his leaf.
wow, Brandon. You just gotta get your mind out of the gutter. It's the deeper themes here, and he's so Kenji. Everything that he says is hilarious and
What's that?
back. It's like conspiracy theories because obviously, since this is a dating sim, it's the feminists trying to take over since there are more girls than there are boys.
Okay,
So he-
so for
yeah.
those of you that are rational, you can just think of Kenji as that neighbor you know that occasionally comes out and talks about how,
And that
like, the president is an alien or something like that. That is basically Kenji.
we
He's
have-
the kind of guy that would be totally prepared for 2013.
Yes, he would be prepared for last year. Thank you, Eric.
Yes, you'd be very prepared for last year.
I'm not sure what the last year was, but sure.
All right.
Okay, so
Ooh.
let's go on to the girls, because they're probably, like, the most important thing.
What?
So let's
No.
start off in order I guess, what order should we go in?
Shizune last. Because
Okay.
one likes her.
Okay. So let's start with, like, Emmy, I guess.
Sure.
So Emmy is the token crazy girl that is always excited and happy and runs around and does weird stuff and makes really weird faces during sex scenes.
Wow. Hold on. Is there a sex scene for every girl?
Yes, there is. There's also a sex scene
Yeah.
for Misha.
Okay, God. Okay.
See,
Okay.
that's why we didn't tell you what this game was
You
about.
see, this is part. Never mind. Okay. There's a turn off explicit content thing.
Yeah, it
That's
shows
why
a
we
chicken
didn't tell
wing.
you about it.
If someone had told me about that, could have been nice. Anyway,
Okay,
sorry.
so Brendan, you played Emmy. What is your thoughts on Emmy?
Emmy, she is almost as interesting as the main character.
Wow. So
Um,
she's like half a brick.
yep. See what she does is everything she says is very, very predictable, and she is the pretty typical moe character.
But it's okay because she has no legs.
Yeah, and
Oh,
you
yeah,
meet
that's
her
no
by
legs.
creatively. She runs into you in the hall.
And you almost die.
Yeah. I will say, I think she has one of my biggest story writing complaints, which is the way they end her story is with a sex scene with her,
Oh.
which is kind of one of those common things in things like this in video games, where the pinnacle of relationships is sex, and that is the end.
You know, I think that is a bad portrayal of women, and we need to respect them. This is the
Well, it's not even a
21st
bad
century.
portrayal of women, it's just a bad portrayal of relationships in general.
It is. It really is, and this
It's like,
is now a PSA.
Booyah, you had sex. Game
Good
over,
for you.
man, game over.
Let's go downhill from here, man. Downhill from here.
Okay.
Yeah, that is. You know, I think that we should not sue these guys, but we should write them a strongly worded letter about that.
Yeah. Dear 4chan, why are you so weird?
Oh yeah.
See, many
Okay.
people have tried this before, but strangely enough, it hasn't worked.
They usually get dedoxed.
Okay. Continue, Brandon, if you would. Brandon.
About what? Emmy?
I don't know. Like,
Well, she had this one good scene where they were about to do it, and then Rin walked in, who is the armless girl, and just kind of stood there and looked out the window.
Yeah,
Okay.
she needed to see a cloud, apparently.
Yep.
And they're just, like, kind of doing it, and she's like, oh, the cloud, I can't see it from my window. And they're like, well, maybe you should get a different window. And she's like, yeah, I guess.
And she mentions absolutely nothing and then walks out.
But that's a good transition to Rin.
Now, Rin was the most interesting character.
no.
I would disagree.
I would also disagree.
You also did play her storyline.
Shut up.
So
It's
shut
not
up.
important.
She had the best choices in the game,
I can't actually argue about that since I haven't seen the choices.
and she was the best character.
No, that is very wrong. Your opinion is false.
Why is that wrong?
I can't tell you because that would spoil the best character, who we were saving for second to last. Last being the piece
I'm
of
assuming
shit.
you mean Hanako.
Yeah, but don't
The
spoil
only
it yet.
character you played.
The
Okay.
best character. Sorry, keep
I
going.
played both of them, and Rin was better.
Look, that's okay. Keep
Well,
going.
I'm gonna say, the little I played of Rin, she was a bit weird. She's kind of
She has
insane
no
a bit.
hands.
You know, drugs, those are
that's how you
things.
judge people, Eric, huh?
I mean, I couldn't make no, hold on. That doesn't work. I was gonna say head or toe, but she has her head and her toes.
Cripple jokes.
Dating her
Cripple
would
jokes,
cost
yeah.
you an arm
I
and a
couldn't
leg.
get a head or a toe of any. Oh.
It only costs 2 arms and no legs.
Oh.
Anyways,
Sorry.
there's still a whole lot to be said about Rin, I guess.
Yeah, she's kind of there, you know. She's that one girl.
Yeah, she also has like probably the least interesting parts in the other girls' stories because she always
Yeah.
just shows up and is weird and then leaves.
Yeah. I
Whereas
can
like
agree.
some of the other girls have interactions more.
Like-
It seems like.
You know
Lily
what?
is the best outside of her arc character.
But
Who?
the worst character is Kenji.
No, stop that.
We
Kenji
need
has
to
loved
bring
Kenji's life.
it back to how bad Kenji.
We need to make a cult about how awesome.
I think Kenji
is.
has more screen time than any other person.
Kenji has brought forth the information of the great feminist movement that is going to overcome the world, and we need to fight back.
Like I
as
think
men.
there's more
That's the thing.
Kenji than any other girl.
There are more women in Japan than there are men. They're starting to gain power in these industrial regions.
Oh
They're
no.
gonna sweep them.
Oh no!
Whatever will happen then, maybe there'll be equal rights. Oh.
That would be so tragic.
You know. Maybe. Maybe it would.
Okay.
Where were we?
So next on the list is Lily, who I'm going to go out and say is my personal favorite character
Oh.
of the main girls.
Because she didn't see how ugly you were.
No, I'm going to say that because playing through her story and reading it, she actually had some interesting parts near the end of it. And also, I think she's probably the most realistic woman in the game, as she actually enjoys sex. What is this? A woman enjoys sex. And she is rather odd, and she's a bit alcoholic. And she's just generally a nice person, but she has some pretty bad character flaws.
Wow, she sounds pretty batty. She has certain characteristics that bat things would have.
And she's manipulatory, which is pretty interesting.
Huh. One could say that her character is blinding.
Yeah, she is the blind girl, since some of you don't know that.
Yep.
She's the blonde.
But yeah, she has really cool. So two characters. My personal favorite character and Lily are good friends, and Lily is very interesting in the stories that aren't hers as well as her own.
That is also true.
Yeah, that is my contribution to this section.
So, what do you think of the actual game?
What do you mean? Explain.
Like, the choices you make, the text, and things like that.
Fact! The choices are bad.
Yep.
Yep.
And why are they bad?
Okay, so we should start by saying that this game is very, very much mostly text. And if you want to read through all of that text, personally for me, I read through all the text, and beating the one ending took me 5 hours and 50 minutes. So, I don't know about you. How long did it take you guys? I know you skipped some text.
The one that I did Hanako, I skipped part of it, so it only took me 2 hours, and Lily took me 4.5 hours.
Alright.
Yeah, about that.
Alright.
The longest one was Rin for me.
What was I talking about just a second ago? I started thinking about goldfish.
Choices, Eric.
Choices, right. All the choices seem really, really, really insignificant. At least all the early choices. It's like, the first choice in the game, introduce yourself to the class. Don't introduce yourself to the class. What does it do? Someone asks later, oh, what do you do? Because you didn't introduce yourself. And you say, oh, I do this. And they say, oh, okay. That's what the first choice does. All the other choices seem really stupid, like be aggressive in Risk, be defensive in Risk. Has no change.
Yeah, you lose the game either way, and it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I didn't like how when the the nurse comes and talks to you, and he tells you need to exercise more, and your choices are yes and maybe.
There's no, it's just maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, if you said no, he'd probably beat you. Sorry.
And the same exact thing happens, but it will completely change the girl you can get.
Really?
And that was just really
sucks.
That was just really arbitrary. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
see, the choices felt so much like if those choices had just had the minorest of impacts, like changing backgrounds and stuff, and they did put some real choices in there, like, do you go see this person or this person? Do you offer these things that would cost stuff to you but help them? Those would be more interesting.
Right?
But I just think the first act kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's important to have, but the choices were all so superficial. They get a lot better later, I think. Like
Yeah.
Act 4, the choices all mean something, and I think that's really good. There are other ones that mean some scattered around, but I have to say that is my biggest fault with this game. Setting aside hentai, that is my biggest problem with this game is the choices.
Yep. I mean, after Kenji, of course.
No, dude,
Yeah, Kenji's the worst part.
dude.
Kenji is just awful.
So Kenji, right? It's like you got this guy. His name's Steve. He's your normal guy.
Kenji murdered me,
And
Eric.
you got
Stop defending him.
Steve is Kenji's father.
Twice.
Kenji is all the stuff that isn't Steve. I don't know where I'm going with this. Kenji is basically really...
Murdered me twice.
That's just because you suck. I would like to point out that I beat this game without dying once because I am so good because I am a conquest god after watching and reading all of the world God only knows, which I brought up earlier. Basically, I am unkillable in the virtual realm of dating sims.
Okay, that's a thing.
School days, Eric.
Try it.
You should be in school days.
I should be in school days because in the end they would try to stab me and I'd pull out a gun and shoot him in the face. I ain't getting the bad ending.
Right?
Okay.
That is kind of the bad ending, Eric.
It's not the bad ending because then I rob a bank. Yeah, you gotta look forward with these things, Brandon.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That is definitely a thing.
Yep.
Okay. So, how about then we go into your favorite girl, Hanako?
Yep, she is by far the best. she's so sassy that oftentimes you'll get burned.
Okay, yeah, she's the burned girl. We get it.
Yep. In all seriousness, no, she's a shy girl. She's the best. Obviously, you got burns all over the right side.
Second best.
Um, tragic accidents
Character
in the
named
past with fire.
Never.
And
I didn't really go deep into, but
I thought that she was a really interesting character. Actually, like lot of cool backstory. Really developed a lot. I thought. See, it felt to me doing Haneko's path a lot like watching an anime in which I get to. Well, see, actually, that's not actually about Hanako. We'll talk about that a bit later. But she was really good, I thought.
Yeah, so Hanako did have my favorite scene, which is when they go to buy gifts for her. Him and Lily go, the Brick and Lily go, and that's a good scene.
And then I don't know. I really like how it ends up in the end, like with they get past this road wall. They grow as people. It seems like an actual relationship, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, see, that was one thing I was happy because I was actually kind of worried that it was just gonna end with like the hentai scene, and they'd wake up the next morning and be like friends or something, because that's basically what Emmys did. But that one, it was like no actual stuff.
It was really good, yeah. It all ended very nicely, and the progression of it worked well. Except Act 1 was fine. Still kind of.
I don't know, the Act 1 sucked. There's no defending that.
I enjoyed reading it for a bit. It had there were some interesting.
There are also some terrible characters like Kenji.
So the way that I see playing dating sims, it's like watching an anime in which you get to choose who it ends up with. Because I've had a lot of problems watching a romantic anime where the main character ends up with someone that I hate. Like, you want to watch Kataba Shoujo the anime? Oh, good news, they end up with Shizune. And that's like that always happens to me. So
we didn't talk about Shizune.
Yeah, we don't. I guess we'll talk about it.
I can talk about her if you want.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm the only one that played that story because no one really likes her.
No.
She is the deaf girl and the token tsundere, only she doesn't even talk. She has someone translate for her. So it just adds this level of kind of depressing horribleness to the writing, and it's easily the worst one. Although I will say, weirdly enough, Act 3 and beyond actually starts to get interesting as they introduce that, unlike the other stories, you actually start to go out with Misha, who's her translator.
Oh.
And you actually build a relationship with her. However, she pretty early on realizes that you like Shizune more than her, and kind of goes into a depression about that, while you're still trying to say that you love her, even though you kind of don't really. So it ends up being saved by not her, basically, for Shizune's story. And then it also has the optional scene at one point. The bad ending is to cheat on her and just end up with Misha. And then it just kind of falls apart.
That sounds like the good ending.
It very much sounds like a good ending.
Yeah, but see, the thing is it falls apart because another thing, you have sex with Misha, and then she's like, by the way, I'm a lesbian. I'm in love with Shizune.
What?
Yep.
What?
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
So
she admits that she joined the student council and she learned sign language and everything just because she's actually in love with Shizune.
Well, see,
Yuri, go wild.
I was thinking, it's got everything you need. It's got action, school, and Yuri. What else do you need?
Yep.
But in all seriousness, though, oh god, that would be so much better if there was action ending with Misha instead. Sorry.
Yeah. She actually, she goes through more development in that story though, because she goes through depression. She actually cuts her hair back and looks way more normal by the end because she's kind of over the fun phase type thing.
Yeah. That sounds really good with that development. And then but still, it's a lot easier to like a character who all of their lines aren't ...
And they also, I did actually some checking out into it because I skipped a lot of the story because it was running out of time and it was kind of boring other than that. But there was actually some background stuff. She does actually have a disability, most likely, that they don't say, is that she's actually got a problem with her ear that damages her hearing and balance, because she often shouts, and she has trouble with stairs, which I just thought was kind of interesting, because she is technically a disability girl. They could have just had a story with that.
Yeah.
And in the beta, apparently, once you ended your relationship with her and started dating Shizune, she committed suicide. And then the good ending was that you and Shizune moved on and decided to name a child after her. The bad ending was you split up over it.
That sounds horrible.
Wait,
mainly because you end up with Shizune.
Make Shizune commit suicide?
That would be
the
best.
Misha.
Is there an
Oh.
ending like that? That would be the
Oh.
good ending.
Yeah, the
would
good
be-
ending. Shizune just like pulls out a gun and shoots herself, and all the other girls just have a party.
Yep, that would. I would pay good money for that, to be honest. By
Oh,
the way,
good.
this is a completely free game since we haven't mentioned that yet.
Oh yeah, Shizune has some of the worst parts in her story though of being an asshole. She literally is making fun of the blind girl who's her cousin. She's just like doing hand signals to her, and the girl's just like, "Can you translate for me? I can't see anything."
She also bullies the burn girl.
Yeah,
Yep, and she bullies the
which is
Burn
why
Girl
I
because
personally
the
hate her very much,
Burn Girl's
mainly
friends with
because of
Blind
that.
Girl.
Because Burn Girl is best girl,
Besides Rin, of course.
besides Kenji, of course.
Shut up.
He just said Kenji's a girl. He's infiltrated the feminist movement
Oh.
too far.
He's infiltrated it so far that he became a girl.
Also, Kenji's just a copy of Lily because he's just another blind character.
You know, that is not true. He is a semi-blind character.
He
can
is legally
partially see.
blind. That counts him as blind.
He is like a what? So if the main character is a brick, what is Lily? Like a duck?
A flower?
Flower? Okay. Let's go with
Lily.
that.
Come on.
I listen, man. Listen. We gotta look for the deeper meanings.
Okay.
Deeper meanings. Anyway, so that makes Kenji like a flower, but like 3 in 1.
No, Kenji's a series of books called Harry Potter,
Okay, that's
but
good.
really, really bad versions.
I disagree with that. Anyway, I had something I was gonna talk about, but then I forgot it.
Wow, good job.
It was going to be the most interesting and the very best of anything ever that we could ever talk about, ever.
I'm sure it was.
Definitely. It totally wasn't terrible.
In all seriousness, no. Well, overall opinions of the games from you two, though, I don't think we've heard those yet.
I mean, I think it's worth it if you have some sort of interest in this visual novels to go and play through once. Don't go through for 100%. I got the 100%. It's just a picture that says thanks for playing, and it's actually worse drawn than the rest of everything.
Well, I haven't played many dating sims, but I'm sure there are better ones, honestly.
I mean, I was pretty impressed with this one's music. It had good art. There were some animation scenes actually that were pretty cool.
Arguably, the only good thing about Kenji was the music he had.
Oh, he had great music. That was awesome. Yeah, it's. What was I gonna say? So, like Scott said, the way that I see this, it's a pick your own adventure anime is how I see dating sims basically. Romantic comedy anime. So playing it through at once is optimal. If you want to go through and see other interesting people, you can do that, and that's great. Just think of it as like separate, because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time if you don't think of it as separate.
Gonna have bad time. Okay.
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 Oh, totally forgot. Just saying, best side character, because although Eric won't agree, because he'll say Kenji,
Other than
Akira
Kenji,
is a boss.
Oh, I actually still don't agree.
Okay.
I think that Miki is really cool.
I like
Miki is really cool, but she doesn't have that much.
Yeah, it's true she doesn't have much. So if I played Lily's story, I'm sure that I would think that Akira is awesome. I do think Akira.
I like Akira because she has actual parts in 3 of the stories, I believe. Yeah, 3.
Really?
And she just tends to be this kind of wild woman that's pretty cool and way too laid back and
she
cool.
wears a suit.
Yeah, and she's like, always use protection, and they're like, yeah, and then they don't because they're horrible people that want
really,
STDs.
they don't? What?
Yeah, they're like,
Use
always
protection
use
and
protection.
not
Don't worry, we are. Wait, we are? Oh no, not really. Don't worry, I'm
Wow.
taking pills. That'll solve it.
I just took health. That's not good enough. That won't do the job. You can still get STIs just as easily.
And STDs and
they're
pills
the same thing.
can go wrong.
It's just I don't know why they decided to pull that doozy out there, switch disease to infection. They just got to make it more interesting. Anyway, but yeah, Akira though, she's pretty cool, mainly because she's a Latin American singer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm making a Shakira reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't a very good Shakira reference.
All right. Still, Miki though, really cool character. I think though doesn't show up nearly enough. She's just kind of like there. She doesn't have like one hand, and she's pretty interesting. She offers helpful advice and interesting conversations with the main character. I think she would be an interesting path if it made that ever, just because like she has actual good conversations. But I don't know. Who am I, really?
Eric
has a good points. And if we hadn't worked out the audio, you could all see that's video. I have this amazing Coca-Cola sponsored glass that I'm currently drinking from. So this is
Yeah.
the point where it gets kind of awkward because we've almost run out of stuff to talk about.
Well, I think there's still one of the big things we can talk about, which is how great was that hentai?
Oh yeah.
Oh
It
yeah.
was, quote, the best, unquote, said no one.
So for one thing, the hentai is relatively minor in a lot of it,
Yeah.
except for the one Eric got, which is not,
Yeah.
because we kind of hoped he'd go that way, and he
Yeah.
did, and it wasn't minor.
Uh,
And some of the awkwardest sex scenes ever, I will say, because they all tend to be like no one enjoying it, and then they enjoy it afterwards, and it's like, what am I reading?
so by the way, heart problem main character main brick
Yeah,
has.
don't have sex when you have serious heart
you know,
problems.
He almost dies.
Several times.
Many times, yes.
Basically, every time he has sex, he almost dies, and he
Yep.
just keeps going.
Also, whenever he runs, he almost dies.
Yep.
Yep. Whenever he gets hit in the hallway by a girl with
He
no
almost
legs,
dies.
he almost dies.
Whenever
No,
someone
he
asks
actually-
him out,
He tried to he thought Emmy was so cute that he almost died.
Yep, that was it. Yep.
Wasn't even hitting him.
So I love though. I didn't realize till like an hour into playing, like, oh, heart problems. It's a game about love. Whoa. It took me a while to get. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I go on the
Well,
aggressive
like,
ones.
We got a true conquering god here.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
Eric.
Hey, man, you died. Don't even try that.
Hey man, at least I got what the title meant. Whatever.
I got what the title meant, man.
So-
it's Cripple Girl. Sorry, keep going.
So are we out of stuff to say?
Well, we could generate new topics, such as what did you guys think about Muto's science discussion? Actually, we could talk about side characters because I thought that Muto was very interesting.
Muto, for those of you that don't know,
Okay.
just imagine David Tennant crossed with Okabe Rintaro after a stroke.
And
Yep.
on heavy drugs for years.
Yep. David Tennant plus Okabe Rintaro is my sensei. That's basically it. He's your homeroom teacher. He's pretty interesting as a character, I think, just because he represents the person behind the teacher really well that you don't see a lot of the time.
Yeah, he does.
What?
He does.
Yeah, it's really good like that, and he gives some good speeches at times to the main character. Like he takes the brick and he draws a face on the brick. That is the best way to describe what he does to the main character. He gives it a little bit of character. There's now a very crudely drawn face on this brick. But that's also something we can talk about, is that the main character in dating sims I know isn't supposed to be well developed. I would not think it was a bad thing at all if they were. I think that's something that very much should happen.
Yeah, see, the thing I found with dating sims in the idea is that the main character should either be so bland anyone can be them, or they should have some sort of personality that makes you want to be them, or
Yeah.
interested in them, and this guy is just kind of like there, that you can't be him, but you also don't want to be him.
You also
Yeah.
can't choose much about what he turns out
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, you don't choose much about his character behavior.
Basically, you choose if he's an utter retard or just like a brick.
I've always wanted to be a brick my whole life.
Hmm.
In the words of my favorite song, which is not actually my favorite song, I just say that now. It is a brick dun 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 house. It's mighty
Okay.
mighty. Just letting it all hang out.
So I think we're out of things to talk about.
Oh,
Uh,
I realized, one of the things I realized during this podcast, so, Deaf Girl, the most annoying of characters, I realized she is literally, bear with me a minute, Coco
Okay.
Kaga from Golden Time, but from Mitsuo's point of view.
Wait, from what?
Her old boyfriend.
Oh my god. Whoa, conspiracy theories.
So for those of you who don't know, Golden Time is basically main character meets this guy and his girlfriend who's a stalker. He really doesn't like her, but she's beautiful and whatnot, and she's stalking him. And they end up splitting up, and she ends up getting with the main character and stuff. And it all sort of works out in that part. But for the first 7 episodes, she's just chasing him around, being a total stalker, creepy person. And it is literally what the deaf girl is.
Yep. Also, that actually brings us something to talk about, which is that in anime, a lot of the time, they do the same, main character, no personality thing, where in this, they say, oh, he had amnesia, he doesn't get to have a personality, so that kind of works. I don't think it's a good substitution, but I think that's something that they do all too often in romantic comedies is not give the main character a personality.
Yeah.
He was kind of really boring to play as. I mean, he's like the second worst character next to Kenzie.
You know, Brandon.
Actually, no, third. I forgot about Shizune.
If if you take a tower and you flip it upside down and it lands on you, I will be happy. See, you thought I was going somewhere with that, didn't you?
No, I never think you're going anywhere.
Okay.
Eric.
Shoot, I did it again. I had a topic plan. I forgot it.
Okay.
Is this where we put the awkward break music?
This is where the awkward jump cut is. I swear we'll all cut this out.
Do. Maintenance.
Okay.
Do. This is where you guys think of stuff to bail me out.
Okay, so I think what would have made this much better though is second one called Kagasho. I can speak, guys. Trust me. Kagawa Shoujo after story, and they done a clan ad with it. That would have made it better.
See, I should watch After Story at some point. I should probably watch After Story. But hey, man, YOLO. When you live the thug life, going outside playing rugby all day long, you don't have time to watch anime like that. See, if you replace rugby with Dota 2 in that sentence, it is my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Is this where we cut it, or do we force it to go longer?
This is where we cut it before we force it even more.
All right, guys. Now we need to make
At this point, we're going to be taking it,
Guys, I
raising
feel like
it
we
from
should.
the dead and beating it.
I feel like we should talk about what we want to do with this podcast a bit. Actually.
That is actually a good idea.
Yeah. I have good ideas, guys. I swear.
I want to revel in mediocrity.
Sometimes we remember why you're paid.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah, there's a reason he's in his basement
Yeah.
and not a lot out.
That reason would be that it's much more convenient now that my sister is gone forever.
Can't prove anything. You can't fight body.
Yep. You can't touch them. It's all
No
fire.
body, no crime.
Okay, so I'm gonna say some ideas that I thought we were doing, and you guys can correct me and say other things. So I'm guessing some of our podcasts are just gonna be random segments, so like this on random things we find,
Majority of it.
and last a while.
Yep.
Some others are probably gonna be on Dota 2, because that's a big one,
Yep.
and some others are probably gonna be on anime, because that's a big one.
Yep. That's
Yep.
a big one. And then some are probably just going to be like aimless conversations because we have some pretty interesting conversations.
Yeah.
If I do say so myself.
We have no interesting conversations.
Well, the problem is now, like, this is an episode focused around a topic. So when we run out of stuff on that topic, it seems weird to go out on a limb. Whereas when we're having a normal conversation, it gets kind of funky.
So we'll just be like, hey, what you done lately? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know, what have you done? Oh, I don't know, what have you done? Oh.
I drank vodka and saw it Russia when helicopter fall from sky and the blow up in fiery rage.
Yeah.
And then I eat potato.
So, I think it would be time to end this.
No, so closing. Yeah. So what he said was true. Do you guys? We might. So the rough schedule is like one. Oh, what? Oh, he's doing a screen. I thought the call ended. Okay. So the rough schedule we're thinking is like once per week, roughly. It's probably gonna end up being like every other week would be better actually. So that's probably what we're gonna do. Every other week, put up a video podcast, and I think it's going to be pretty great. I don't know. But, I see. Well, as you can see, the girl on the left or on the right of the blonde girl is the best. Oh, they can't see it.
No one can see this.
That's sad.
Although that does bring me back. There's some pretty cakey sex scenes in that.
We don't talk about those, Scott. We don't talk about
like tying up people, okay. Blindfolding people, okay. That's getting a bit weird.
Wait, what? Does that happen in Shizune's
Yeah, it does. The deaf girl ties him up because then they can't sign language, so he's mute.
Why would anyone?
And then Lily's like.
Yeah, Lily's like, wear this blindfold and experience what I experienced. And then guess what? He almost has a heart attack.
Why would anyone play Shizune's ending? The blindfold is meh. I can kind of get that she's trying to prove a point.
Oh, we'll edit
Shizune is just stupid
after the fact, since this is probably making no sense.
But guys, we have to do it. Yeah, we have to do an outro song though. Let's think of a song right now.
Wait, why is she holding a knife?
What?
She's holding a knife.
Because she's blind. That's a cane. What are you talking about?
Oh.
Yeah, that's she's holding her walking cane.
Okay, so let's think of an outro song on the spot. Well, we're the Slapdash Saboteurs, and we've been here to say we hope you have a really wonderful.
Cut it right now. Cut it.
Yeah.
Cut it.
I'm using
Cut it.
Dad's hands, but you can't see.
Cut it.
Bye.